KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tanu program, gold sponsors of the Guam Micronesia Island Fair. Cars Plus remind you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads Up Guam, IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
Right now on Primetime, two young sisters are dropped on the back road to Anderson after they got on the wrong bus. Plus, one mother is speaking out after her son was allegedly abused by a one-to-one school aide. And also tonight, a motion has been approved that returns control of IIAAG back to the Guam Department of Education. If you're watching us live on Facebook or watching us on Guam on KUAM TV 8, thank you for watching. Hafa I'm Jason Salas. Well, get out and walk home. Those 5 words were two little girls say they were told after getting on the wrong school bus on Tuesday. And while they were dropped on the back road to Anderson, the parents are grateful that complete strangers came to their rescue. Sabrina Salas-Matanani reports.
Atacao Elementary School 4th grader Angel Cruz and her little sister 9-year-old Raylene made a mistake.
We rode the wrong bus. We rode B96.
But it wasn't as bad as the bus drivers.
When we noticed that we rode the wrong bus, we told the bus driver, and she started yelling at us, and she told us to get out of the bus and walk home.
According to the girls, the bus driver dropped them off at a bus stop at 1,000 steps off the back road to Anderson.
Thank God they didn't get kidnapped. Thank God nobody, that they actually have good people out there looking out for them.
Victoria Cruz says she can't believe a bus driver would tell a child, and in this case her 2 daughters, to get out and walk home, knowing they got on the wrong bus.
You're supposed to be a bus driver. You're supposed to be for looking out for our kids, and you don't even care. You're telling them to get off and walk home, and they already told you that they're on the wrong bus. You don't know where they're from.
The Cruz family just recently moved to Laddie Heights, and their daughters aren't familiar with the area.
We tried to find our way back, but there were too much turns, so we just went to the same bus stop and tried going the other way where the bus went. And then we saw some dogs, and they started chasing us. Yeah. And almost bit her. They were big, and they started chasing us. One of them almost bit my foot.
Angel and Raylene say it was a high school student that saw them and asked if they needed help. The teenager then called his parents, who picked up the girls and started driving toward Laddie Heights. The girls' father told KUAM he had been driving around the neighborhood, and it was by chance that he drove by their normal bus stop for the 3rd time. That's when the girls noticed his car, and the Good Samaritans waved him down.
I'm glad that we came back to our family because I was scared in that car. I'm glad that we stayed in the same area we were and people helped us.
Now, the mother, Victoria Cruz, says that she was told that it is a policy that when a student informs the bus driver they are on the wrong bus, the bus driver is supposed to transport the child back to their school. For the time being, DOE spokesperson Isa Baza says this morning Superintendent John Fernandez did meet with the director of DPW and his bus operations team, as well as the bus driver, administrators of Atacao Elementary School, and the parent. The group discussed the situation to ensure that appropriate measures were taken to ensure this type of incident does not happen again. Fernandez says, "We believe we addressed the situation, and we did jointly apologize for the anxiety, worry, and concern of the parents, as well as their experience of the students. We're working hard to ensure," he says, "this does not happen again." Speaking of education, the mother of a elementary school student up at Upi Elementary says she's not sure she can trust the Guam Department of Education after her son's one-to-one school aide was arrested for allegedly abusing her child. Once again, here's Sabrina.
My thoughts and my perspective, the way I look at the schools is different now because this happened to my son.
Amy Kasten's son is in the Head Start program at Upi Elementary School. Her son is 4 years old and has been diagnosed with emotional disability, developmental delay, and possibly ADHD. Last month, she received a phone call from the school to meet with the principal at the Department of Education's headquarters in Tidzin.
That's when they told me what had happened, that my son, on 3 different occasions, same day, but 3 different incidents had happened. He was pinched on the shoulder, he was pulled by the hair, and also was told, "Do you want me to hit you?" from that one-to-one aid.
Caston says she wasn't even told about the incident until 3 days after it occurred. Just this morning, the Guam Police Department announced that an arrest was made. GDOE paraeducator 66-year-old John Holy III was arrested for child abuse, assault, and official misconduct. The alleged abuse occurred on April 29th. Another employee witnessed what happened, and school officials reported the matter to police.
I was relieved, but then it makes me look at the schools, all the schools in a different way. Who can I trust?
Caston says since the beginning of the school year, she had been requesting for a one-to-one school aid for her special needs son, and that it's actually included in his individualized education plan.
He needs a one-to-one aid because he needs a lot of redirecting on what to do, focus on the classroom. So it was very inconsistent with the aid, because from the beginning of the school year it was hard to get one because SPED kept saying there's not a lot of employees to pull from.
Caston says Holy was assigned to her son recently, but only twice a week. For now, she doesn't plan to have her son return to UPI next school year.
I'm just worried now about my son, how it's affecting him. Sometimes he would come out and open and said, "Mr. John hurt me," but then he'll still be happy because you can't really tell the difference with him because he's very hyper. But I just want my son I want to get justice for him. You know, as a mom and an advocate for him, I want to try to get the help for him, even though he can't speak for himself in the right way.
Now, the Guam Department of Education, in other news, will be tackling the issue of taking over high school sports after the call was made by the Education Board during their meeting Tuesday evening. The new year will bring new changes with high school interscholastic sports. The Guam Education Policy Board approved a motion that would return control of the program back to the Guam Department of Education. That motion was made by GEB member James Lujan.
It's a major undertaking. The department was the guardian of interscholastic sports for before, and the only thing that moved it away from us was the finances. But we ran it well. Not to say that we're not thinking of outside entities to partner with, but my main focal mission is to make sure that we can bring back sports into the mission of education, public education. When we moved it to AAG, it was sort of like out of sight, out of mind. We lost our purpose for why sports is included in education.
According to the resolution, which passed unanimously, GDOE would take over the high school interscholastic sports program beginning January 1st. It would also prohibit the outsourcing of interscholastic sports programs for at least 2 years. Here's Superintendent John Fernandez.
So we've been thinking through different alternatives. One is to rebid it out and redo the scope of work and or bring it internal. Given the time frame that we have, there's no way we're going to fix things before the summer without having other things fall to the side. So if the board is going to be supportive, allow for the eventual, we don't need to do it immediately, but the eventual hiring of someone to run the program, and is supportive of at least allowing us to transition smoothly with IAAG continuing until at least the second quarter, then I think we'll have enough time to make that transition smoothly. Okay.
In November of 2018, GDOE and the Education Board first announced the review of interscholastic sports and its impact if control was returned to the Education Board. That program is currently overseen by the Independent Athletic Association of Guam. GDOE already operates middle school sports programs internally. And you want to stay tuned because coming up a little later in sports, our Dave Delgado has reaction from that big decision. And tell you what, we've also got a poll gauging how you feel about interscholastic sports possibly moving back to GDOE. Are you in favor of it? Vote now on our poll on Instagram. At the moment, 44% of you do support the concept, while 56% think it's not such a good idea. Let us know what you think. We're on Instagram at KUAM News. That's in our Instagram story. Well, the ball is now in the governor and legislature's court as the Education Board has been requesting millions of dollars for a new central middle school.
Plans are in store to convert Chief Brody Elementary School into a central middle school.
It's a long time coming.
During the Guam Education Board meeting on Tuesday, the board passed a resolution that requests the governor and the 35th Guam legislature to appropriate $10 million to the Guam Department of Education to begin the renovations necessary for the conversion. The decision to convert the school was based on an April 2018 resolution from the Tamuning, Tumon, and Harmon Municipal Planning Council to conduct a feasibility study for a new central middle school, explore reprogramming of Jose Rios Middle School, and to recommend attendance area changes required to facilitate both changes. The study was completed in September and presented to the GEB in October, with a final decision made by the board Tuesday evening.
The feasibility study demonstrates that a conversion of Chief Brody Elementary School into a middle school is possible with the replacement of school canopies, electrical upgrades, new parking lot lighting, air conditioning upgrades, restroom renovations, demolition of the old pool building, renovation of the cafeteria and administrative offices, construction of a new cafeteria, new parking site development, painting, and a new gym.
No timeline was given for when the conversion would occur, but the GEB is hoping the governor and legislature will act fast.
I think it's a good move. We have community support of that, and you know, I beg the governor and the legislature to move quickly and expedite this issue.
Well, very quickly, units from the fire department and forestry are working to extinguish a rather large grass fire in the Radio Barrigada area. Currently, no structures are in immediate danger. There have been no reported injuries, yet nearby PC Lujan Elementary School was released early. GFD is advising residents with respiratory illnesses to leave the area until the fire is extinguished. Elsewhere tonight, the Guam EPA is launching yet another investigation after a report of an illegal dump was made, this time in Anigua.
Lena Taitano Limtiaco has been living here in Anigua for decades. She just returned from a doctor's appointment when she saw a huge fire outside the apartments behind her home and property adjacent to her house.
The flame was going up to the post. You should see the big flame.
She ran inside her home and called 911. The thick black smoke and fumes also was cause for her neighbor, Carmen Pablo.
I'm asthmatic and they go crazy for me. I don't know where to go. They told me to go in the car. Like, no, not with this fire, to go inside the car.
It was Tuesday afternoon the Guam Fire Department responded to a fire in the area, and Guam EPA was also notified. Spokesperson Nick Lee.
Guam EPA's emergency response was activated yesterday shortly after 3 p.m. to respond to an apparent illegal dump site fire on 10th Street, West O'Brien Drive in Agana. A preliminary report from our agency's emergency responders observed approximately 25 cubic yards of waste that had caught fire. Details are still limited right now. The program that will be responding to this is our solid waste management program.
According to Carmen, a portion of the property that was on fire is owned by a deceased relative, and his son is in the military stationed in Hawaii. Carmen adds her son Ned Pablo has been trying to help clean the area.
But it's waiting for him to, get some people more to clean the inside the house and all around. They clear some of all around the area. And the site. It looks before like a junkyard.
Mrs. Limtiaco, however, says this could have been prevented and had contacted Guam EPA and the Agana Mayor's office about the illegal dumping problem. That was 1 month ago. For now, the incident is under investigation.
And typically what happens in these cases is a responsible party or parties have to be identified. And once we make that determination, it could result in a notice of violation being issued for improper solid waste disposal or solid waste management.
Elsewhere tonight, the Department of Corrections is conducting an internal inquiry into allegations made by a detainee during a hearing in court on Tuesday. The detainee says he was assaulted while in custody of DOC. Before Tuesday, DOC had no knowledge of such allegations, nor was a complaint ever filed with the agency, any of its officers, or any of its staff. Management, it says, takes these allegations seriously and remains committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those within its custody and to protecting the community. Well, please stay tuned. There is much more island news when we return.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. from smart devices. Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
We value relationships because when we commit,
I love you guys until you're 80, until you're 90, until you're 100, forever.
we are in it for the long run, so you can enjoy the moments that matter. Because when we commit to relationships, we never stop caring. Calvo's Select Care, health care that is always there for you.
What if you could drive your way to the most secluded beaches, energetic cities, or dramatic landscapes? Or eat your way to ancient civilizations, romantic hideaways, or the world's most hashtagged destinations? Now you can. Earn double miles on gas and groceries with the all-new United Credit Card from First Hawaiian Bank and receive 30,000 bonus miles. Gas, groceries, getaway. Apply now at fhb.com/united.
The most delicious union of all time is now on Guam. Kentucky Fried Chicken and Waffles for a limited time at KFC.
Half a day.
Ali, Mogiti.
Saranu.
Yakoy.
Half a day.
Lenho.
Join us as we celebrate peace and friendship in the Pacific at the 31st Annual Guam Micronesia Island Fair from May 29th through June 2nd at the Plaza de España in Hagåtña. Experience Micronesia and our people as we share 5 exciting days of cultural entertainment, food trucks, live musical performances, and more at the 31st Annual Guam Micronesia Island Fair at the Plaza de España. To you by Guam Visitors Bureau and Tea Galleria by DFS, making Guam a better place to live, work, and visit.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Take Care's protest of the GovGuam health insurance bid has been denied. In a page-long announcement, the administration department said it was acting on the advice of counsel, but offered no further explanation for the denial by the government negotiating team. By way of a statement, Take Care said it disagrees with the decision and will consider other remedies to, quote, properly address the underlying issues in our protest. A new law does require bidders to include all civilian hospitals in their network coverage. Take Care does not have a contract with the Guam Regional Medical City. DOA has notified Take Care of its rights in administrative and judicial review, which includes a further protest to the Office of Public Accountability. The insurer says special provisions are in place to ensure coverage for its members will continue uninterrupted. Also tonight, in a historic meeting at the White House today, the presidents of the freely associated states met with President Donald Trump and issued a joint statement reaffirming their commitments to the Compacts of Free Association. Renewal of those landmark agreements is quickly approaching, and one longtime observer says the specter of China's interest in the region looms large. Nestor Lacanto reports.
Retired University of Guam president and former Washington delegate Dr. Robert Underwood says the meeting sends a clear message about the vital importance of the Micronesian region and the more than 3 million square miles it comprises.
This area used to be known as an American lake, but it's no longer an American lake. It's a Micronesian lake. And how the Micronesians are going to go is really critical to how the U.S. Positions its military assets and how they formulate their policies in this part of the world. Chinese influence is growing with or without military power. It's just growing in this part of the world. So it's not like just trying to figure out what a hedge is against them. It's trying to figure out what is the lay of the land going to look like. So in that sense, this is a really vital question for this part of the world, and I think Guam is really at the center of it.
As China's interest in the region looms large, that can be added leverage for the freely associated states as they prepare to renegotiate their political association with Washington. But Underwood believes Guam must also assert itself.
I think it's vitally important for Guam to get a coherent message to not only to convey what Guam expects out of this relationship, but for Guam to convey to the FAS states and to the federal government what it wants out of this relationship. Guam is the social, the economic, and the educational center of this region. Guam has enormous influence. It's like the metropole for the area. It's like the New York City for this region. And how Guam relates to that and how it relates to the other areas as a consequence of that is pretty important.
But the former congressman, who has written scholarly papers on U.S. Micronesia ties and just last year delivered a speech on the topic at Georgetown University, says our focus can't be on a reactive issue like compact impact aid. It needs to be on a comprehensive plan for the future, but he believes the federal agency with the most direct oversight over Guam doesn't get it yet.
This is a major geopolitical strategic phenomena that is occurring in this part of the world. And Department of Interior has to catch up in their thinking, and I think our political leadership on Guam has to wake up to the authority and influence they can have over this process. Certainly it's clear with the Department of Defense, starting to be clear with the State Department. I don't think it's as clear with the Department of Interior.
Meanwhile, President Trump also signed an executive order appointing representatives of the freely associated states to a new President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. The group includes top officials from more than 24 federal agencies and will be co-chaired by the Departments of Commerce and Transportation. Its purpose is to broaden access by AAPI employers to communities, to economic resources and opportunities to improve the quality of lives and raise the standard of living. The order says there are more than 20 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the U.S., about 6% of the population. It also identifies original peoples of Guam and the CNMI as Pacific Islanders. Well, for our next very special profile of hope, we head over to Maria Ulloa Elementary School and introduce you to Team Carabaos for a Cure.
Grabbing cancer by the horn. Team Carabaos for a Cure was created back in 2012 and is comprised of roughly about 20 to 30 faculty and staff from Maria Ulloa Elementary School. Rochelle Diaz, who is a 5th grade teacher at the Dededo School, was the first team captain and explains why the team was established.
At the time, we had a lot of our fellow colleagues and teachers who were diagnosed with cancer. So it was something that was, it hit home for us a lot. And it even affected us even more when our dear friend Maridal, who got hit by cancer the first time in 2012.
Diaz said before she would go to all the relay events on her own and thought it was a good thing.
At that time when she got diagnosed with cancer, it was even a more opportune time to do it because of her. And she did so much for the school, and along with our other colleagues, we decided to name it Carabaos for a Cure. We wanted to eventually let everybody else who's dealing with cancer feel like, hey, you know what? This is a celebration of life because you're still here with us.
Maridel Perez, a cancer survivor and teacher with the GATE program, says leading up to Relay for Life, the team raised money through an array of fundraisers and activities, such as bake sales and karaoke nights.
We also helped to advertise the luminarias, which is presented at the Relay Night in honor and in memory of those who have had and survived cancer. So that's one of our other biggest fundraiser to help remember them. Like Rochelle said, we are a small team, so we just try to do what we can. We've even sold succulents. We did cups for a cure this year, so if you guys want to save the earth, don't forget to order one from us.
And for the team, there are a couple of things that stand out during the evening of Relay for Life.
For one, definitely is the camaraderie that we see there, that everyone comes out to support one another. Just being able to be there for supporting those who've had cancer, as well as the Luminaria event as well. That's also a touching moment for all of us. We get to see the bags light up and again, remember those that have gone before us or help fight with those who are still here.
With this year's theme, Once Upon a Time, what do they envision as happily ever after?
That they get to celebrate life, that the survivors still get to celebrate life with us, still get to be around to celebrate more Relays for Life. And just like what she said, just being able to be together with everybody else. It's such a big event. I always get excited. There's a lot of work that gets put into it, all the planning, before that, the logistics, but at, that night when you see everybody get together, you see all their survivors, the families, the caretakers, it's a reward in itself.
Stay tuned. Sports is coming up.
Make every day a plus.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
Legends aren't born, they are made. And during our Jeep celebration event at Cars Plus and Mighty, you'll receive up to $6,000 in accessories with the purchase of a new Jeep Wrangler, Motor Trend SUV of the Year. Customize your new Jeep to the way you want it. Or how about a new Jeep Grand Cherokee? Save up to $5,000. Or save up to $7,500 on a new Jeep Compass Sport. It's our Jeep celebration event going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tonight on the show, we're going to hear from some coaches around the IIAAG and get their reactions to the news that broke on GDOE taking over high school interscholastic sports for the 2020 season. Check it out.
I would hope that the plan is not to separate the leagues. When I was in high school, we actually had separate leagues. This was, I think, when the beginning of the split. So I was playing for JFK or running for JFK, and GDOE had its own league, and IAAG had their own league, and we only played within our league. So for public schools, that was kind of tough. At the time, we only had 4 or 5 schools. We had to play GW. I remember 3 times in 2 weeks, and that was not fun. We split our team. We had 2 teams per school. I think if it splits the leagues, I think that's pretty much the biggest concern around the community. I hope that whatever their plan is, that the leagues stay together, because I don't see any benefit. You know, as an athlete, you want to compete with the best, and the best may not be just in the private school or in the public school. I think it's a mesh of both.
I think the answer right now is we really don't know. Number one, I'm trying to put a finger as to what went so wrong with the IIAG that required DOE to pull out. And then the second question to that is, okay, well, if there are some issues, has a meeting taken place between DOE stakeholders and IIAG stakeholders to try to iron out those issues? But the fact that they've already made that decision, I mean, I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how DOE is going to handle it. I'm not sure how IIAG is going to handle it. And it's really just a waiting game for us right now.
The last like 10, 11 years, I was a coach for Academy Later of Guam Cougars. And that's under the IIAG. So it's pretty interesting coming from a coach's standpoint. But I guess what really matters is the continuity of it all. It's always about the athlete, right? The scholar athlete. So I just wish the best and hope everything works out. For us, unfortunately, well, we might be fortunate because January 2020, the interscholastic starts, right, for softball. So it's going to be pretty interesting how the continuity comes about. So we'll see.
Well, I think, you know, with everything, you have to look at it as an opportunity. We're very excited at Guam High. We have 5 athletes that we're going to be signing here. So it's all about the kids. So hopefully that it'll work out, that we'll get more college exposure through whatever decisions that are made. I don't know all the logistics behind that decision. But it's going to take some planning, and in the end, I hope it works out for the betterment of all of our athletes here on Guam.
Now for some highlights from Glorified Sparring 3, held at Still Athletics in Tamuning. The event raised $2,600 for Coach Bob Sale's Open Heart Surgery Fund. Close to 400 people packed the Still Athletics gym to cheer on the competitors. There were a total of 23 mixed bouts of boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and MMA fights, Participants stepped into the cage to challenge themselves and take advantage of the opportunity to showcase their skills in front of all the spectators.
Pulses per minute. That's the rate of your heartbeat when you were born. And as you grow up, you'll get to meet your awesome crew from over 164,000 people on this island. Together, you'll explore some of Guam's 210 square mile land, where you'll get to enjoy hundreds of things to do, from climbing the highest mountain and more, to exploring the deepest trench and more. But that won't be enough for you, so you'll travel more than 1,000 miles to experience 1,000 more things, in more places where you'll meet more faces, until you meet that one person with whom you'll be doing 1,000,000 more things with, until you bring another heart that would beat 180 pulses per minute, and we'll be there, giving you more data for more of those experiences.
Triple J says yes. Easy financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. Fast and friendly? Yes. Find the car of your dreams like our Mazda CX-3 at only $19,995 or the Honda HR-V at only $180 per paycheck. Get top market value on your trade-in, explore payment options that work for you, and get pre-approved instantly. We'll even go the extra mile to deliver your vehicle to your home or office. Triple J says yes. Just click, pick, drive, and purchase your next vehicle at triplejguam.com today. Triple J, customers first.
And now the moment you've been waiting for, tonight's birthday shoutouts. We have a sole birthday recipient tonight for May 22nd, so happy birthday to Kania Ani Matanonia Pinaula. Happy birthday number 10 coming from your Nina, your Nino, and your entire family. Hope you and everybody out there had a wonderful birthday. See, sometimes we have birthday shout-outs, sometimes we just have a birthday shout-out, singular, and that's totally cool, but we want to incorporate as many of you as possible, so go to KUAM.com and register. And please stay tuned because there is more right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. Explore your world.
Hafa day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas, and thank you for streaming us on YouTube or Facebook or watching us on KUAM TV. We are talking about the Guam Micronesia Island Fair to kick off this episode of our very wonderful show, and I have three friends join me on the KUAM couch talking about this wonderful event, what it means for our island community, and how you can help celebrate Pacific Island culture. We have, of course, Pilar Liguana from GVB.
Hafa day.
Very good to see you again.
It's great to be here.
You are the hardest working woman on Guam, I must say.
No, not at all.
And most humble.
I just try to work.
Oh, there you go. Well, very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And of course, Mario Borja, the expert on the time-honored tradition of the Sacman. So your expertise and your insight are greatly appreciated.
Well, a student perhaps, but Hafa day from the Sacman crew.
Okay, well, you can be a student and a teacher. You can pass along the information. And of course, also from GVB, the man whose the cost of his shoes are probably equal to one of my car payments, Josh.
Oh my gosh! No, actually, these were on sale.
Oh, very nice. Well, you have expensive shoes. I have a modest car.
Yeah, these are pretty modest, but they look expensive.
Well, someone who equally cares about perpetuating our culture through tourism and everything.
Absolutely.
So it's very nice to have the three of you here because Guam Micronesian Island Fair is coming up. It's an annual tradition. It is outstanding.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Pilar, we'll give you the honor of opening the floor and telling us what it's all about.
Well, this is an exciting time. We always look forward to this part of the calendar year because of Guam Micronesian Island Fair. It's going to be our 31st celebration, and we're celebrating peace and friendship in the Pacific, and it is the kickoff, actually, to our 75th Guam Liberation festivities. Mm-hmm. So this is the first event that we're going to have, and we are excited that we have extended the program this year. A lot of our visitors and our local residents want more of Guam Micronesian Island Fair. And so we are going to have the open ceremonies on May 29th, and the fair will last till June 2nd. Time of the fair will be 10 a.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Again, our residents want more of the fair, so we'll have it a little longer, with the exception of the last day on Sunday. It'll end at 6 p.m. And we are so excited because we'll have all our brothers and sisters from our Micronesia region together. The whole idea of Guam and the Micronesian Island Fair is to share and teach and just enjoy each other's culture. We will have different artists from throughout the region. We will have arts and craft that can be seen and very clearly help us understand the cultural diversity of Micronesia, from the Federated States of Micronesia, from the Republic of Palau, from the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas, and the Republic of the Marshall Islands. So, and every year we get to make more friends, and so it's like a reunion of ambassadors for Micronesia. And many people don't realize you take the southernmost part of Micronesia to the western, to the most eastern, and that whole area takes about the whole size of the continent of the United States. That's how massive our region is.
I didn't realize it was that big.
Yes.
I knew it's a big chunk of the ocean. I didn't realize it was that big.
And
Interesting.
what's so fascinating and really a testament to our people in Micronesia is how close we are, and how we have a lot of commonalities, and yet we have our unique cultural differences in terms of our cultural values. And the fascinating thing is we get to learn about that at a lot closer environment, because we have a large Micronesian community here on Guam, and we have a large community of Guam and the rest of Micronesia community in the mainland and elsewhere in the world. So this is a real good time to share and celebrate each other through friendship.
I like that word. That's a key word, friendship. And an interesting
Yes.
dichotomy, because we're spread apart by so much geography, and yet we're bound by so much culture. So I wanted to ask one such artisan and one such craftsman. So Mario, of course, the Guam Micronesia Island Fair is not a competition. It's not like, oh, we can do this better than you, or we're so much more advanced, or our techniques are more refined or anything. It truly is, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. We would like to share our traditions and our practices with you and possibly learn from you. So what have you found about, the way that you and your colleagues construct the Sakman, and what do you plan to pass on to our brothers and sisters throughout Micronesia?
Well, we are very blessed that the British provided us with some documentation on how our ancestors built canoes 300 years ago. And from those documentation, we're able to tease out the many key data.
Gotta love the Brits.
Yes.
God save the Queen.
We were able to extract data, critical data on the dimension of the canoe, the size of the sail, so that we could build it again almost 300 years later. So we're working with our fellow seafarers here to show how things are done back then, how we continue to do things. We're also telling that story of how we discovered the documents from the British archives, and how it continues to provide the passion within our hearts to pursue and learn more about sailing.
And will you be taking an existing project that's been ongoing, or will you be taking like raw materials and from scratch be actually constructing an entire segment?
There's an ongoing project that the other seafarers will be bringing, and they'll be showing the people how they use the tools of old. They're still using the tools of old to build these canoes, but the spirits are.
This is pre-Black and Decker days, right?
Pardon?
This is pre-Black and Decker days. You don't need batteries to run this.
Well, you don't mention Black and Decker anymore.
Exactly.
Or now DeWalt, but
there you go.
The tools of old continue to help the artisans here produce what our ancestors produced. But you're using newer technology, especially in the sealants and the glues that we have available today.
Ah, okay. So combining some of the old tradition with some of the new school.
Right.
Excellent.
Our ancestors would be very upset if we're not using newer products, because they had to take sap from the trees and mix them up with other stuff just to make glue.
Well, our Chamorro ancestors, we were bound to learning from our forefathers and from your uncles and your grandpas and everything like that. But at the same time, they were not afraid of progress.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? In our storytelling of the canoe project, we're going to be telling about a discovery that we just stumbled upon when we were out sailing the canoe. Now, building a canoe does not make you a sailor, Jason, right? You agree
Absolutely.
with that? But it helps. And in the process of building the canoe, you discover a lot of embedded secrets, so to speak, that our ancestors built into the design of the canoe. But yet there are more secrets that you discover when you are out in the water sailing the canoe. And that's what we want to share with
Interesting. So
Guam.
you're building in some Easter eggs into the little project and everything. Very, very cool. Okay, so Josh, we always come to you because you are the man when it comes to like the logistics, the parking, the times, and Pilar kind of covered on what the dates are and everything like that. But what should people know about what they can experience? What time they should show up, and because a lot of people think, oh, that's a great way to burn 35 minutes on the weekend. But this truly can be an all-day affair.
Absolutely. As Pilar was saying, we start at 10 a.m. on Wednesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Opening ceremonies at 6 p.m. We have Shannon McManus and Anania Nauta that will be hosting. And so we're really excited about that. So we want to invite everyone to come down for opening ceremony because that's the best way to see all the different delegations and welcome everybody and kick things off on a grand scale.
Shannon is great too.
Yes, Shannon is very
very proud Guamanian and half Palauan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we in addition to all of that, we have cultural entertainment. We have food trucks that'll be there. So make sure you bring some cash. If you don't bring some cash, that's okay. We have an ATM from thanks to Bank of Guam, so you can pull some money out.
Speaking of new technology,
progressive, yes. And then there's just all throughout the entire time from Wednesday all the way through Sunday, you can come and get some cash to go. And we have 19 Kaha artists that will be featured. So you can shop. This is a great time for Christmas shopping and get some unique merchandise that are locally made here. And then visit our delegations. I think Palau's going to bring some storyboards with them too.
Oh, that's wonderful. No,
yeah.
Palauan artistry is amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, parking, you mentioned parking. You can park pretty much anywhere in Hagåtña. In the past, when Guam Micronesia Island Fair was at Paseo, you could park anywhere around that area. So we're just kind of down the street. So yeah, there's parking everywhere. Guam Museum's right next door. The Guam letters, you can take pictures with that. And there's just so much to do, and I must make it clear that this year's event is at Plaza de España. So,
okay, important distinction to be made.
Yes.
Okay, well, we got to go, but is there a website or a Facebook page where people can follow?
Absolutely. You can go to visitguam.com, check us out on social media. You can call Pilar at 646-5278.
She may not answer on the first ring, because like I said, she's got a few things going on.
No, but our team will be happy to assist. Linda and Gara will be answering the phones, and then you can talk to Pilar or me. Or
All right.
And I just would like to do a big shout out to our sponsors who's making this possible.
Okay, real quick, because we got to go.
Yes, we have a whole list of sponsors, but just thank you, Sejus Masi, for everyone who has supported this cause. It's a great cause for the region of Micronesia and all the people of our area.
Okay, well, thank you all. We will see you there. We're greatly looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing you on the flip side of this break.
Adios.
Turn up summer with Minute Maid slushies, only at McDonald's. Enjoy 3 refreshingly chill flavors, new sweet peach, blue raspberry, and fruit punch, while summer lasts.
Smiling is a natural response to joy, happiness, and excitement. Your smile reveals a lot about who you are. A healthy, beautiful smile can brighten your appearance and be an invitation to conversation and friendship. It is often one of the first things people notice about you. Now, thanks to the advancements in dentistry, you can have the smile you have always wanted, giving you an improved smile that looks and feels great.
My silver fillings that I have, they're getting older in my mouth and I need to replace them. So I've started to do that and I've replaced them with the white fillings and I've had really great success with that. It looks good, they feel natural, And it kind of goes hand in hand with the bleaching. I want a white look all around my mouth.
The Good Life, all month long on the stations and networks of KUAM. Check the KUAM News app or KUAM.com for all program listings.
All right, we're back, everybody, and we're going to talk now for a significant amount of time about a topic that tragically affects each and every one of us on Guam. That is cancer. Every one of us knows someone who is suffering from cancer, who has dealt with cancer, who has been involved with the treatment of cancer. And we want to drive that number down. So a conference is being held very, very soon to address that. I have Vivian and Kavita, and we are talking about that. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you for undertaking this very serious problem, but hopefully the knowledge that will be shared and the dialogue, hopefully, can make a lot of progress in this area.
Absolutely. That's our hope.
Okay. Is there a theme for this year's conference?
So this is our annual Celebrate Life conference. This is open to cancer survivors and their caregivers. Generally, the theme is Celebrate Life. It's an annual, like I said, it's an annual conference. It takes place in June, which is also Cancer Survivors Month.
Okay.
I just wanted to add on that one. So it's a Saturday. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Pacific Star Resort and Spa. And just as Kavita said, it's the conference is really intended to individuals who are living with, through, and beyond a cancer diagnosis.
And you said, Kavita, it's also available to caretakers because they're
part of the journey.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they're the backbone, and it's when somebody has cancer, it's not just the individual who goes through it. It's everybody around, everyone in their circle experiences cancer. You know, whether on a small level or a large level, but their caregivers are an important part of it, and we want to make this available to them as well.
Okay, how can people register for this? Because I know some people would say, you know, my uncle went through like cancer treatment. I know a survivor, like a very good friend of mine is that. Somebody that I know and I care about is just beginning to go through the treatment. So I would like to partake of the information.
So we're part of the Guam Comprehensive Cancer Coalition, and that's available through Public Health. They can contact Vivian at Public Health, or they can reach out to us via our Facebook page, which is the Guam Comprehensive Cancer Coalition, and register for the conference.
And I just want to give my number, so they can contact me at 735-0670, or at my email address as vivian.pareja@dphss.guam.gov.
Okay, that's really easy to remember. you can scrub back on this YouTube video and watch that over if you need to find it.
Okay.
We'll put it in the show notes as well.
Okay, perfect.
And
Thank
this
you.
conference is free. There is no registration fee. Breakfast and lunch are included.
Wonderful. Okay, where's this going to be at?
The Pacific Star Resort and Spa. It's
Very
on
nice.
Saturday, June 8th. It will start at 8 a.m. and go to about 1 p.m.
Oh, very nice. Okay. So again, if somebody comes to this, obviously you're bringing up memories, although, you know, we're celebrating life and celebrating victory, if you will. You're also recalling a time in their life which was very, very fragile.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
So how open can people be? And I'm sure this is a networking opportunity for people as well.
Absolutely. You know, part of it is to gather folks together who may not meet on a regular basis, or, you know, people don't always talk about health issues. So you may not know someone had been going through cancer or still on that journey, and you tend, being a small community on Guam, we know each other. So it's a open forum for people to come. They're all in the same boat. They can all commiserate. They can all share each other's joys and losses, and understand that this person knows what you've been through. They really know what you've been through. They understand what you're going through. And I think that helps to make it more open and more trusting, where you feel like, oh, I can tell my troubles because they know. They understand. It's not somebody who's just offering sympathy or empathy just for the sake of it. They really know.
Right. Okay, so will there be like a series of guest speakers, or do you like break out into like little groups, or do you basically just come and and have a dialogue with other people.
So in the morning, we have Yoga Stretch by Miss Linda Frank. She is a yoga for cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, I love Miss Linda. Yeah. She is a yoga for cancer trained teacher. She's been teaching yoga, and she's also a therapist for more than 21 years. And she's been doing the community outreach too for free. And then we also have Dr. Dorado Brooks. He's flying in from Atlanta. He is a cancer interventions, prevention and screening, early detection for American Cancer Society.
Oh, very nice. So this is an interactive session as well.
And then, go ahead.
So I'm sorry. So he'll be talking about life after cancer. One of the important topics that we'll be discussing, we've opened it up this year to do something different. It's a panel discussion. We've reached out to different faith-based communities here on Guam to ask them to come in and do a panel. Basically, our question was, when somebody's diagnosed with cancer, obviously your faith is tested. You know, you get, why God? Why am I sick? Why did you allow me to get sick? So we wanted to ask all these different communities, how does your faith say to handle this? Or what would you say to someone who would come to you with these questions?
That's a very good angle.
And, you know, we figure with Guam, even though, again, the majority is Catholic out here, but we do have a Hindu community, we have a Muslim community, we have the Episcopalians, the Baptists, the Mormons, the Buddhists, you know, and we thought it would be an interesting experience to get all this information and get the insight from all these different communities on how they would approach something like this.
That's very true because of the nature of the disease.
Absolutely.
I know it's a very natural way to, even some people may even go as far as questioning their faith, and they're saying, why me?
Right. Why am I being punished?
Yeah. I'm such a devout person to my faith and my church. You know, look, why did this happen to me?
Exactly.
I don't deserve this. Yeah.
And, you know, we hope that this would encourage people to reach out to, and yes, definitely question, but we hope that the faith-based organizations would have some guidance for them also. And it may not be what they want to hear from one, but maybe they get some sense of understanding and, you know, peace from another one.
Or possibly offer scripture or, you know, some sort of spiritual guidance. And,
absolutely.
Oh, very excellent. That is an angle I've not seen in many cancer conferences. So even for people that have attended past forums.
Right, this would be something different.
Yeah, that's going to be a fresh angle.
Yes, absolutely. And then our last speaker is Dr. Lilian Perez, who's an amazing therapist. And with her, we asked, what would the ideal cancer journey be? You know, people experience cancer differently, whether, you know, it's something relatively minimal that can be easily resolved or, you know, less intrusive, less ongoing. But for most people, the minute they hear you have cancer, it's that immediate mentality of, oh my gosh, is this a death sentence?
Exactly.
And so, you know, part of it is if you had to have cancer, where we know, I'm not sure what the statistic is, but I'm sure it's huge, where you'll know at least 1 in 4 people who have cancer. If you had it, what would the ideal cancer journey be? What would be the best way for you to navigate? And, you know, Dr. Perez does a lot of one-on-one. She also does group sessions through the Edward M. Calvo Foundation to speak with cancer survivors as well as people who are still on their journey.
All right. Well, ladies, we thank you what you're doing for the community. Thank you very much. It's certainly going to be information-packed, and there'll be hopefully some tears shed.
We'll see.
In
we'll see.
In very positive ways.
Hopefully in a positive way, yes, exactly.
Absolutely. But that's what being a community is really all about. So,
and that's it. We want to be able to support our people in the community, as well as offer them different options, different information, and an outlet.
And as we say all the time, you're never in this alone.
Exactly.
So we thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And please stay tuned, because we are back right after this.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're going to be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're going to be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time